What's up, everybody? It's your favorite stunted trailer's favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the Hasbro Motormaster. Did you see what I did there? Stunted trailer. Come on, man. I do this! Anyway, today we are looking at the Hasbro Motormaster. I bought this myself. I told you guys I was going to buy this set out of curiosity. Morbid, perhaps, but curiosity nonetheless. So we're going to take a look at him, but in order to do so, we need to take a look at accessories. He comes with a sword, and the proportions on this look awful. It looks like a thing that you like want to blow up hands, but a sword, like a little battle sword that you would get at the circus or something that would be made out of foam. But the blade is painted gray, gunmetal gray. That's nice enough. And that sword can be stored inside of the trailer. It pegs into this purple piece here, and then it slides into there. And he can hold it just fine. Minosaur can hold the sword. He comes with a gun that doesn't look anything like his gun, his iconic gun anyway. There's a number of ways he can hold it, obviously, and do stuff with it. These two pieces split out, and you can have this up and all sorts of kind of stuff. But it folds up. That's something that you should see. I'll show you how it stores. Other than that, now the gun can be stored right here. In order to get to it, just take off the top part of the trailer, which we'll show during the transformation of the trailer, and then you can bring it out from here. And then I guess keep this down. He'll hold it in the 5mm port, but the elbow joint, the shoulder joint isn't strong enough. So it's like, come on, man, just a waste. The whole thing's a bummer. But what it's really meant for is to plug onto this tower that you'll see us build when we get to the trailer. And I guess it can go either way, really, depending on your own sensibilities. But that's what it's meant for, thankfully, because it's not really effective for the robot mode. And for better or worse, Minosaur can hold the gun. So we'll start with vehicle mode, and we'll have the trailer on for right now. Look, man, I hate it. I hate it. I don't, it's, you know, all of the kind of promotional imagery kind of have it at this angle, and from this angle it does look really good, but the moment that you do this, it's finished, in my opinion. There's nothing left to talk about. It looks too awful. Like, it's too stunted. There's too many things that don't look like a proper trailer. This actually doesn't bother me, but this stuff here not being encapsulated bothers me. The purple stripe not finishing all the way through. The complete lack of visual doors or just the end of the vehicle in the back. Whatever this is, without a bumper, like, it's just, I just don't think it's excusable. I'm sorry. It doesn't look good to me. Now, the good news is, if we take the trailer off, this I can deal with. It does a good enough job of all of the things. We have the silver down here, the silver there, it's sculpted well, it's painted. None of the headlights and stuff are painted, but what do we want, right? Well, we want them to be painted, but what do we expect? Maybe much lower. Purple paint on there, on the windows and doors look good. The Decepticon symbol looks sharp. They gave you a little extra details up in there. I don't have that 100% right, but you get the idea. This doesn't bother me. This is just inexcusable. Just inexcusable, in my opinion. So, there that is, and there it is next to Tiger Tracks. So let's get it transformed. We're just working with the cab right now. So these pieces here, they don't stay in 100% great for me anyway. This one in particular has a tendency to want to pop out. But bring them up and out, and then fold these pieces in. You want to, I guess, split this. This piece comes down and plugs into the front of the cab on both sides. And then the entire leg comes down. And the ankles basically break free, spin 180, clip the wheel underneath, and spin back on both sides, which is pretty clever stuff, I will admit. I dig that. And then on the back, I'm gonna make sure these knees are as locked as possible. On the back here, we want to panel 1, fold in, panel 2, fold in. This spins down, comes around, and then that folds in, and then just same thing on this side. Panel 1 fold in, panel 2 fold in. This spins down and locks in. Then we want to disconnect the backpack from the arms. bring the arms down and around. They'll plug in to the side of the chest. And typical fist in the forearm business. Flip that out and close. Flip that out and close. And then this comes around and pegs in to his back. I'll clean him up. We'll take a look at him. So good news, I don't hate him. I don't hate him at first look. The proportions work for me. The aesthetics kind of work for me. I don't hate him. Let's go through him though, so to speak. We'll start with the head, and of course we'll get in tight for Dennis as much as we can here anyway. And sculpt looks good. The face is painted, the eyes are painted with a metallic purple, 2 different shades of it, it seems. Nothing to complain about there. You just get a swivel out of the head, no up or down movement. The chest, we have some sculpted detail in there, and then we have this gray line work around there, as well as the pelvis, and it's done nicely. It's clean and sharp. Love to see it. We have the Decepticon symbol on the arm. Now, for the arms, we have universal joints that get you out to 90 degrees, some sculpted detail, and it swivels around, and it looks painted to me. Like the shoulders and the forearms, the bicep is not. But you do get a bicep swivel with an exposed mushroom peg, and you do get a single hinged elbow that gets you 90 degrees. But the white paint does look good, clean, and sharp. And it's over black plastic down here, which is even more impressive, I'll admit. Purple on there looks good to me. And we have a wrist swivel. Same for the other side, except we have the Decepticon symbol. All right. We have waist swivel. We have no ab crunch. Not surprising necessarily. Let's back out and take a look at the whole figure. We have universal joints for hips. You can see the pin is clear as day. That gets you the full Van Damme. It gets you, I don't like these knees, the full Monty. I have a ratcheted joint here, and here it's just inconsistent. So not the best in that regard. Thigh swivel. These knees, I hate that they they're like hard to kind of plant in. They're supposed to stay kind of locked up in here, but mine don't necessarily do a great job of it. You do technically have a double hinge knee, but even on the single hinge, it gets you as far as you're gonna get, so it doesn't really matter. The purple paint that we've kind of already talked about still comes through nicely, as does the silver down here, and then all of that matches the faux front at the bottom, which works for me as well. So no issues there. Ankles, no ankle tilt up, no ankle tilt down, but obviously you get a pretty impressive rocker. And there he is from the back. Size comparison wise, there he is with drag strip. I don't know. I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but like these proportions work, these don't. I know I'm a broken record, but that's the way it is. They did a good job here. Not so much here. But what's interesting is the next thing I want to show you, which is both of them standing next to one of the most impressive Voyagers I think Hasbro has done. Their Brainstorm IDW style, and just look at the difference there, size-wise. You know, from what we used to get, I guess. This is a very small figure, in my opinion, price point-wise. Do you know what I mean? And I know that size doesn't equal price. I trust me, I know that. But like, there it is next to a Marvel Legend, right? It's a $22 figure. Do you know what I'm saying? Of course, the engineering and all that, I get that. But you used to get that here. So, you know what I'm saying? Makes sense? That's kind of where I'm coming at with that. Now, for the trailer. So, this is like to support it, like support struts. The first thing you want to do is split this apart. As for this piece, open this up here. Open all of this. Sit this to the side. And flatten this, basically, I think. And then make it butterfly down and tab completely into itself. And wrap these back around so that you have this little number here. So let's break this into 4 pieces. This piece comes off. These 2 pieces separate. You can take out this accessory. And these 2 pieces separate. These pieces are pretty simple. They're and you just bring this down and bring this back on both of them. Then we're taking this piece and moving that down, and then this around. Bring in your arm pieces and rotate this way, I believe, or no, this way. And then you want to take this peg and peg it in. No, I'm sorry. Good grief. I'm all ate up. Take this peg where the wheels are. You want to connect that into the back side here. So same on this side. Peg in. Then you take your feet, bring them over and tab them in to the sides here. And take your tower. You have 2 tabs on there and 2 females at the bottom of the chest. And just kind of hard to see with the camera in front of me. There's one, there's the other. And that's the base mode. You know? I don't know. I guess, man. You can have Motormaster kind of standing on the bits here and put his head underneath this thing. These handles, obviously, as we showed, can come out to the side, and then he can sort of hold them, I guess. E for effort, in my opinion. It's a thing it can do. You know, it does it as well as anything else, I guess. Do you know what I mean? These things are always more suggestive than anything. A little battle station. I don't know if you'll ever have any need for it, but it's something it can do. All right, to get it in combine mode, undo the backpack, bring it around to the front, and sit it in front. There's nothing really to hold it there yet, but it's coming. So bring the arms up, take the hands and put them back away. And you want to have this whole shoulder needs to come out. It's hard for me to remain oriented. There. And then tab in where the hand flipped into the chest, or the backpack piece. So we're gonna bring this up at the white. We're going to open up the flap, put the hand away, open up the whole butterfly here, which I guess technically is a butterfly joint, but not the prettiest. Bring it around here, and then tab this in to the bottom there. On the back, open this section up, and the Motormaster head is on a double hinge that'll come up, and then give yourself some space here. Flip Motormaster's head in once, flip it in twice, bring this back down, flip his ears up. Now, rotate at the waist. Let's turn the leg in. This needs to come up and around. In order to do so, you need to open up this. And Combiner Wars, little ode to yesterday, you know? Combiner Wars the leg in, close that back up, bring this up. There's a tab on the side of his flank there. There. And then this piece here, the kneecap, untab that, bring it around to where it was in when it was a truck. And then the faux truck piece flips down and plugs back in to the flank. So we'll do that one more again. Rotate in, open this up, Combiner Wars the leg down as a little ode to yesterday. Close that up, bring this around and tab it into the chest, which is, let me see if I can get it off camera real quick. All right, I just couldn't see what I was doing. There. Kneecap comes back down, sits in the proper place that it was for truck mode. Faux cab splits, comes down, pegs in. So then we just have this monstrosity You can get rid of these super fast. Take this panel and flip it up. Flip it up, take those to the side. We'll take off that. We'll remove these pieces. We'll set them to the side. We will spin the hips. And we will take our legs, which I sat somewhere and should be able to find relatively quickly with enough ad-lib filler. Find out where the ankle rocker is so that it goes in the right spot. And that part's done. You can open this up if you want. Plug in Motormaster using these giant pegs there into the females. Couple things to do to secure it. This tab comes up and locks into the back of Motormaster's pelvis piece, and then on the front these pieces flip up, and I don't know if they actually do anything to secure it or not, but they help clean it up. As for this, it's pretty intuitive. You just want to kind of straighten as much as you can. Just do a little straightening. Pay attention to the double hinges. Fold this back. Fold that back. Same on the lower end theory. And boom. We're gonna do the same thing with do a little bit of straightening. Take advantage of those double hinges. Collapse our panels. Flip the hand around. And then you just slide these down. And we'll take a quick look at them. I don't want to get too involved in this until we have a finished Minosaur. But there he is. And I mean, everything seems like it's going to work okay. Proportions are okay. You know. Knees look good. Ankle rockers. Yeah, I don't know. You know, at least I can say with some bit of confidence, it's going to largely come down to the connectivity of the other cars onto them. I think that will make for either an enjoyable or unenjoyable experience. Size comparison wise, there he is with drag strip for like kind of a modern deluxe, so to speak, a new age Legends figure, and Starline. So, you know, he'll actually work quite nicely with a lot of Legends figures, in my opinion, interestingly enough. Final thoughts wise, let's start with the negatives. One of the biggest glaring negatives for me with the figure is the knees, or I suppose are the knees for all my grammatically inclined gentlemen and ladies, perhaps. Let's not kid ourselves. I wish the knees on Motormaster locked in a lot better. As you mess with them and sort of pose them and move them about, they have a tendency to kind of come undone like Duran Duran, and then you're fighting with it to try to get it oriented properly, and it's just a less than favorable user experience in that regard. Secondly, the alt mode looks awful. Awful. With the trailer anyway. Without the trailer, not so bad. With the trailer, train wreck. The base mode isn't for me, but it doesn't really detract from it too much either, so I don't mind that at the end of the day. I don't think a whole lot is sacrificed in order to pull it off. In fact, it may have come down to trying to figure out how to make it a box, and in order to do so, they had to come up with that tower, and then once they had the tower, they probably had to come up with some way to build it into the experience. Because it's not like any engineering is set aside specifically for the base mode with the exception of the tower. And lastly, the price point. It's too expensive for what it is. I hate to say it. I know you hate to hear it, and I don't usually harp on price too much, but this doesn't feel like 80, 90 bucks, whatever I spent on it. This feels like 50 bucks, maybe 60. It certainly doesn't feel like an SH Figuarts at all, which is the price point that is kind of in. Recently, I've been having a conversation about how I view Transformer toys in terms of like collector standards. And to me, the Hasbro line should be similar to the Marvel Legends line or the Black Series line or the Classified line. But when you start getting to these higher price points, then you start flirting with different collector markets, i.e. Mafex or SH Figuarts, and knocking on the door Mezco and stuff like that. And at that point, the expectations become different, and my expectations for this were different based on the price point, have to admit. That doesn't mean I think it's a bad purchase or that I regret my decision or that I even don't recommend it, because none of those things are true. In fact, there's plenty of positives about this guy. There's lots of paint. Specifically for a Hasbro figure, there's lots of paint. And some of it I think is purely for aesthetics. Like, not just because they had to in order to make it look right. I don't mean aesthetics in that regard, but aesthetics in like, if we paint this, it would look better. Like a decision for the overall presentation. All of the articulation is there for Motormaster. The transformation is relatively straightforward for all of it, and the Minosaur looks very promising. Can't co-sign it yet, but it looks promising. Add that in with a good looking cab for a truck, and a Minosaur that looks like it'll scale beautifully with Legends figures, if not its own line. And at the end of the day, it is a recommend for me, just an expensive one for what it ultimately is. Thanks for listening, thanks for watching, until next time, take care.